we're seeing something like Nocturne, who's really prefers to dive something with a little bit less HP, because it really needs someone to connect to. And the other thing you want to see is Nocturne, a little bit of synergy. Typically, like typical pairs like Orianna with the Nocturne, but we're gonna see Syndra here as well. Pretty high damage champion, but again, more on the bursty side of things, and not as much on the DPS side of things. It should be a little other way around. We've flipped the team names again. I just
all right. And, looks like Nocturne's not going to be able to do much against that top, mid lane, and jungle. He's really only going to be able to focus if he's... Although you can build Nocturne properly, as a Nocturne player myself, you can build him properly to be able to fight those tanks, but you have Bruiser, and he starts to be able to fight those higher end tanky targets like Mundo and Set and Vladimir. But you've got to make sure that you have somebody who can do a lot of the high end damage. You've got Syndra in there who can do a lot of the damage. You've got a lot of Ashe's damage isn't just suddenly you take 500 damage in a hit. It's, you took 400, or you took 100 here, 100 here, 100 here, and then so that it's interesting to see how the damage comes out here. And so there's a lot of fighting potential you've got a lot of that tankiness, a lot of the burst damage from Lucian, a lot of the crowd control from Nami. Just being able to see how these team fights are going to play out, while No Heckin' Way has a little bit more of the control with Milio and Renekton, Syndra and Ashe. You've got a lot of people on the side of Frankfurt Wurstions who have anti-crowd control capabilities. You've got Mundo with his passive. You've got Vladimir who can just blood mist and get out of there for free. Like if Nocturne decides to use his fear on him, he just blood mists and runs away. There's nothing he could really do about it. And so it's knowing when to use these crowd control abilities that they have is going to be what makes or breaks this game for them.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if something like Ash Ultimate's really key ability, an Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but if you hit Mundo with it, it just nothing happens.
It's not going to do anything.
It feels real. It's going to feel real bad. If you try to hit Vladimir, he can Sanguine Pull and just then And you really think is like Renekton, Nocturne, they like to dive these squishy champions, but is it really going to work for them if they just jump on the Lucian, try to drop with Lucian and one shot him? And even if they succeed, is that good enough for the side of No Heckin' Way? I am a little concerned about sort of that damage output that they're going to bring. Ashe is not typically considered a hyper carry or a DPS threat. She provides a lot of utility. She can kite really well, but it's going to be a slow grind of these team fights on the side of No Heckin' Way to really edge out Frankfurt Wurstions. On the other hand, if Set throws Renekton into your backline, then your slow team fight strategy is not going to work very well.
So but it's a very predictable team fight strategy. If your Nocturne is going to be focused on those squishy targets, you know who he's going for. You know how to peel against it. And because he's only got really 2 targets if he's going to be an assassin. And if he's only got 2 targets, you know where he's diving, you know when he's diving. You get once he turns the lights off, you know exactly who he's diving on. It's either going to be Nami or it's going to be Lucian, because he's not going to dive Mundo. Mundo's just going to kill him. And it's not going to be Vladimir. Vladimir's just going to out tank him. He gets a quarter of his hit points back, and suddenly Nocturne's whole kit is gone. And Set likes to take damage, so you deal damage to Set, he just turns around and haymakers right onto Nocturne, and Nocturne's dead now. So who is Nocturne going to want to dive? The simple solution is he's got Lucian, he's got Nami.
Anyone else is a very poor decision unless he is extremely far ahead.
Yep. Well, we'll see. We'll see how No Heckin Way pilots their team. I'd like definitely be exciting to see if they're able to slow down a fight and really just take out these takes one at a time and keep Lucian and Nami from doing too much on the back line as we get into the game here. We're seeing a nice 5-point opening from both sides as they try to avoid any cheese. Looks like Rahambe took a little bit of damage there. Actually, might have been throwing infected cleavers as the Mundo abilities do cost HP.
Yes, and with tossing out those, he's got enough regen that it doesn't really matter too much. Even at level 1, his hit point regen is actually quite large. He regenerates maximum maximum hit points.
Reap just found Rahambe with checking the bush, going for the late invade, and now all of a sudden No Heckin Way is collapsing. Rahambe having to ghost away there, and he's maybe looking to start his red buff anyways, as it'd be a pretty huge tempo loss otherwise. Blue ward inside the jungle on the side of Frankfurter Merchants, and that's going to spot him out as he tries to finish red buff. He's getting really low. If you see them at the HUD in the top right there.
It might be difficult for him to keep that tempo up if he's not able to get the camps. We can see that he's trying to pull Krugs, he's trying to get the red buff at the same time. But with how low hit points he is, it might be something very difficult to do. We can see his hit points rubber banding there. He's got a couple trades there in the bot lane, but he is almost able to secure the red buff. And
oh my gosh, executes a red buff. This is a terrible start for the jungle, but top lane FrankGBG with a haymaker doing not quite enough damage. Mercury getting leveling up there with a Call the Meek and just getting enough damage off. We saw really aggressive brawl from both these top laners. Both top laners really like that level 1 early lane dominance. It looks like No Heckin Way Mercury Breeze going to get ahead there, and it's going to be. We'll see if he's able to destroy that top lane with that lead.
You see that a lot where you've got a half-second difference between when they hit level 2 and when you know where that is, where that's going to be. You can start the fight if you know you've got that advantage. It's a little bit of a knowledge check. Am I going to reach level 2 before you, or are you going to reach level 2 before me? If you do, I'm going to want to disengage a little bit, wait till my level 2, and then I can engage on you. But if I'm going to reach level 2 first, I have that advantage. I'm going to get those 50 hit points, 100 hit points that I gain, and it's going to mean life or death between me and you.
Pengo hitting a couple of tags on the Zerg there with the Hunter's Focus, and Pengo's a little bit low in the bot lane here. A lot of damage on him. First order target just hit level 3. Relentless forward, flashes forward with the piercing light, but heal comes over Kyoki and is very healthy. And now Zerg's looking for the Aqua Prison, lands it as First Lord Tavar is running away there. The Ultra Mega Fire Kick lands on the Zerg there for a little bit of extra damage.
And those auto attacks from support still do damage. It's interesting to see when somebody just underestimates how much damage a support can output with just auto attacks. Like, I've played in games as a support where somebody just absolutely underestimated it, and they ended up paying the price as they...
Rahambe just found the gank on the mid lane there, landing the effective clear. GOG is running away to turret range, and looks like they're going to disengage from that one. But Rahambe just found Reap. After playing topside jungle, the fear comes out, and Reap is going to pick up a kill, and very nice counter gank inside No Heckin Way.
Yeah, that fear isn't very useful against Mundo when he's got his passive up, but if you've got enough damage to be able to and enough movement speed to be able to just stay in line with him as Nocturne, that fear's not even going to matter.
Yeah. Mercury B slicing and dice on the FrankGBG there. He's got up that longsword, and they see that health differential there in the top lane as he's just coming out ahead of all of these trades.
Yeah, we got Renekton burning a lot of those potions from Frank.
Uses the stun on a turret and tanks the turret shot. With
Mundo is starting to get his tempo back, but he is a whole level behind, and he's match level disadvantage and the gold disadvantage.
Tango look for getting into the liberal aquifers and just landing the Bangu. He's looking to P on both the 80 carries here. First Legend Force actually looks for no relentless proceeding because from another cycle, getting very low. Kyoki gets hit by the aquifers and Tango looking forward. Reap is here, but as far as the illusion range is too short, and that's going to be a kill over to Kyoki. And that's going to be a very nice play from the side of No Heckin' Way.
Yeah, the crowd control for Milio is doing its job. If he is Milio's job isn't to, with this game
to really be an enchanter so much as to be just a crowd control support. He's looking to keep people away from Ashe and let her do the job. Let Nocturne come in, finish off where Ashe isn't able to. We're starting to see that they're looking to get Nocturne as that carry this game, and funneling gold into that jungle, into that top lane, strong siding that side, and just trying to keep those two lanes behind as Renekton and Nocturne can both turn into hyper carry bruisers in the late game.
Yeah, we just watched a little bit of supportal combat. Kyoki is able to successfully hold the wave against Zerg back there, and that puts Pengu in a very nice spot to pick up a nice wave. Really nice play from Kyoki as well there. Just a very subtle thing with the wave management that's puts Pengu even farther ahead.
So, interesting thing here with the Syndra versus Vladimir matchups. Syndra has a lot more range than Vladimir does. And just being able to get that advantage on the
like top lane pound Mercury B, but Mexican's level 6. He's going to activate Dominus and pull to make Frank GBG, adding a little bit of damage. And Mercury B is still pretty healthy, and their effective clears land's going to put him kind of low, but Eric can be very dangerous in this minion wave here with the extra heal, and Reap is also there at the top lane, level 5, though. Rahambe's level 6, so even Zerg is just got caught out by Pengu in the bot lane as well, getting around Protovar, looking for the kill, but heal's going to come out, and it's going to be too much for the Lucian damage, and that's going to be double kill to the bot lane.
We also had a kill from Renekton onto Set in the top lane while we were focused down there in the bot lane. So Renekton being able to capitalize on Mundo going missing. Another thing is, it's surprising how quickly Mundo was able to make up that tempo disadvantage that he had and get 2 levels where Nocturne was still only level 5. Mundo went from 4 to 6 while Nocturne was still at 5.
Yep, and Rahambe is here looking for another gank. Goes in the mid lane on top of Geo, and he's going to land Cleaver here. He's got to eat the Sun. Reap just activated Paranoia, and preferred versions are going to say time to disengage for Frank GB, also getting engaged on with Mercury at the same time. Mercury is sort of bluffing a little bit of that Paranoia to get some damage.
That's one of my favorite things to do, is activate the Paranoia and do nothing. Because it truly does make them paranoid that something is going to happen. Like, what's going to happen? Who's getting ganked? It's an instant disengage tool across the globe. Like, global disengage from everyone. And, in my honest opinion, that's why it has such a high crowd control score attached to it, is because it's able to disengage everyone no matter where they are. If your location isn't known, nobody is safe.
Yeah, very nice from Reap there to use the Paranoia to both secure Void Grubs and and disengaging mid lane. You see a little bit of brawl inside of bot lane as Geo just picked up a nice stun and an ultimate onto Lava Slide. Lava Slide is doing a pretty good job holding the wave, but and CSing, but ends up taking a kill there, or giving a kill there.
Yeah, we're starting to see a very large gold advantage on the side of No Heckin' Way here, and yeah, we've got 1K to 2K gold leads for individual champions, and that is going to be making a huge difference. Syndra looking to carry this.
Mercury just flashed on top of Frank GGB with a stun gold to make really classic Renekton combo, and unfortunately Frank was just too low, not enough defensive power, and Mercury's going to pick up a kill, and Rahambe's going to find him as well, and it's going to try to fight with but there's tons of damage coming out of Renekton. The Heart Zapper does keep Rahambe pretty healthy. He's going to activate his ultimate as well, and that's actually enough to get a huge shutdown, 690 gold.
Yeah, the ultimate activation from Renekton on that, I don't think was quite the move. But if he had known that Mundo was coming, he wouldn't have probably used his ultimate to take out Set there. Just take out Set, save the ultimate for Mundo, because the percent max hit point damage from Renekton's ultimate is mostly what was doing damage to Mundo in that early part of the fight. But as soon as it went away, he didn't have that damage anymore and had to disengage. But as we know, Mundo goes where he pleases. He's going to engage on you whether you want to or not, and he's going to start to try and pick you off. And that was actually the first kill on Frankfurter Wurshen's side, and so it's good to see that they're at least getting something here. Trying to contest the dragon here, though, and it'll be interesting to see if they're able to do anything about these objectives in the jungle.
Yep, Reap picking up both the early objectives there. 3 Void Grubs, first Dragon, so getting close to those feats of warfare. And there's a lot of turret damage also coming down on the side of No Heckin' Way, as they're see Mercury just picked up 3rd plate there, and there's plates coming down for Geo in the mid lane as well. They're building that gold lead.
Yeah, so we've got Feat of Warfare on the side of No Heckin' Way, as they had the first 3 kills. We're getting the Feat of Monster Slaying here. Looks like we have those 3 objectives. Or is it only 2 objectives right now? I
Should
see...
be Grubs and Dragons, so 2
Grubs
right
and
now.
Dragons. So that's 2 out of 3 objectives there for No Heckin' Way. They either get a tower or they get 1 more objective, and they've got their Noxian Blessing. So
Rahambe going for the ganks in mid lane. Geo just activated Scatter of the Weak, so does he have? He does, and Rahambe is going to absorb the stun, but Reap's here to gank. Lava Slide's looking to go back in. Runs forward with Ghost, activates the ultimate Sanguine pulling a turret. Geo's dying to the Vladimir ultimate, and now Reap and Lava Slide. Lava Slide still got the Ghost boot speed for a little bit here, and he's got the empowered Q, and now he's going to run up into Mercury B here. A little bit weird spot here in the enemy topside jungle. Pings are going down rapidly, and the Scriber is going to find out Lava Slide, and if you have Reap and Kyoke looking to collapse on him, where's he going to go? Into the top lane and looking maybe for an XQ, and it looks like No Heckin' Way is going to give it to him. So he's going to pick up a couple caster creeps and execute to top in hip turret.
And for him, that was well worth it. He got shut down gold onto Syndra. He was able to reduce that gold lead just a little bit to hopefully give him an advantage. But being down 1,000 gold and just being able to get that play right there is impressive in itself. Using... I've never seen a Vladimir move so fast in my life. He ghosted and then rocket belted, and then he was just in there.
Yeah, big fight in the bot lane here. Tidal Wave just blown on the Pengu to try to slow down. Zerg is getting hit with those Ash slows. Flash forward from Pengu. Lord First Light Navarre's also running away on cooldown. And Pengu's now on a killing spree in the bot lane with 1.3k gold up.
That is going to be very difficult to counter. An Ash that is able to do a bunch of that damage. We can see that Kraken Slayer already doing work, as it is one of the strongest items on Ashe, vital first item, because it just gives you so much damage potential on her. And the Lucian, building that crit, it's getting him somewhere, but he needs to be able to do something with it. Otherwise, he needs to play into that crowd control with Nami. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to find the
Rahambe's in the bot lane, but the Heartsteel trying to beat up Pengu. Pengu's kiting as best as he can. Rahambe's ghosting, and he's kind of by himself here as Reap activates Paranoia, and Mercury teleported down, which split up Frankfurt versions, and Heckin' Way is getting a huge cleanup here. Slice and dice forward from a Mercury to pick up Zerg's Bull. That's 3 kills on the side for the side of No Heckin' Way, and they did claim feats of warfare with the turret. Mercury's looking for even a little bit more, but maybe not going to get it.
So that's an interesting point in which you pull your top laner out when you know you can secure the turret somewhere else. That way you don't lose that feat. They pulled him out. They took that turret, and then they sent bot lane up to go match that top laner, as Set's not going to be able to do much against the range that they have.
Yeah, and you see Frank GPG here getting kited down by Pengu. Pengu's doing enough damage here. Frank GPG's just far enough behind. He's got tabbies, but it's not enough to deal with that Enchanter AD carry duo, and Mercury's pressuring a Lopside in the bot lane as well for that turret. But Lopside's looking for a little bit more. He's going to Hextech Rocket Bell forward and activate the Hemoplague as well. He's running forward with the empowered Q, but he's not able to get the reach. Mercury has sliced and diced away, and now he's got an interesting position here as he's trying to run him down. But is Mercury fast? Mercury backsteps here as avoids the Tides of Blood and activates Dominus. Sanguine Pool comes out to dodge possibly the stun, and now the rest of Frankfurt Russians are here. Culling comes out, and shutdown goes to First Lord Devar.
That is a significant shutdown, but it only reduces the gold deficit to 3,000. And so, while they're busy distracted down there, Renekton's making a scene to get them off of those objectives so they can just take another objective, take the grubs, so they have even more pushing power here. Or take Herald so they have the pushing power that they need to just shove another lane in.
Yeah, we're seeing No Heckin' Way up almost 10k gold here, and the Rift Herald's coming down to hit those tier 2 turrets. And it's going to be very hard for Russians to deal with this gold gap. They're maybe positioned to think about taking this Earth Dragon. Rahambe is looking for the position, but Frank GPG's farming the top lane. Got a little bit of space here. Objective bounties came out of the turrets there, so they're looking for a little bit of that. 150 gold to each of the members of Frankfurter Russians for that objective bounty claimed.
So, we can see here that the least gold deficit on the team is Mundo, who, despite his rough start...
Enchanted Crusader just hit Zerg, and Reap's gonna clean up Zerg. So we're talking about the Enchanted Crusader. It hit a squishy target, and Reap's able to help clean that up, and No Heckin' Way just claims Earth Dragon as well. Easy fight for them.
Yeah, you've got to have your team in position if you're going to be threatening the Drakes like that. If your team's not in position, there's not much you're going to be able to do against that. Nami being caught out like that is actually surprising, considering that she's a backline support.
Now we see Dominus activating the top lane. Mercury. He's going to look for the 1v2. Set's going to use the showstopper to throw him in a turret, and the First Lord Devar is here as well. Another pick for the side of Frankfurter Russians. Even they're trade for the tier 2 mid turret on the Pengu. So big gold, still getting a lot of gold for No Heckin' Way there, even though they did give away that shutdown.
Yeah, well, it's a matter of who you're pulling where. Renekton is pulling several champions at a time to be able to allow his team to just push a lane. And he can pull somebody into top lane enough to where they can take a tower mid lane, or they can take a tower bot lane, or even take another one top lane. It's that pulling power that Renekton has here as a bruiser that is certainly making this game interesting for the side of Frankfurt Russians. They're having to send more people to counter him and losing that potential elsewhere. And so they're going to need to start to think a little bit smartly about this on who they're pulling where, and is it enough? Or
I'm just landing an effective cleave on the Geo. Is going to actually take the Enchanted Crusader and get stunned, activating the ulti. Pengu's going in there. He's got Kraken Slayer. He's got 2 items. It's doing tons of damage there, flashing away from all the members of Frankfurt Russians are responding. First Lord Devar is next on target. Reap is now here with Paranoid. Zerg is alone, and a very nice turn from No Heckin' Way. Rahambe looked a little too deep there for that kill on the Geo.
We can see here that Ashe had no fear of the Lucian ult. She knew that he wasn't doing nearly enough damage to be able to threaten her just with a barrier and the damage reduction that Milio gives. It just, the peel there, that Ashe had no concerns. She could face tank the whole Lucian ult and not have to worry about it at all. But Lucian, blind into the bush, he didn't know where he was targeting anymore. So it's a matter of, where's the vision? Who's the strong person here? Where are we getting that gold, and who is it that we need to focus?
Yeah, and you're seeing all the laners, all the carries on the side of No Heckin Way, they're up almost 3k gold here, on full items on their lane opponents, and that's becoming a very big problem for the side of
Yes,
Frankfurt Worship.
we actually saw 4K on Ashe for just a brief moment, and that amount of gold is a whole that's an item and a half advantage, and that amount is able to carry an entire team. Honestly, with an item and a half advantage, you could potentially carry a team 1v9, and just the fact that they've got 3 others that have such a gold lead. We have a whole item advantage on Syndra and a whole item on Renekton that, you know, Renekton's able to pull multiple people everywhere he goes. Ashe is able to pretty much just melt Mundo without him even being able to do anything, so Mundo can't go where he pleases anymore.
Yep. And now we're seeing Thornbound Onotcon taken on the side of No Heckin Way, and so they're gaining the spiritual purification buff, and that's going to help them in those team fights when they get killed. That creates a massive slow field on the dead target, and that helps you chain those kills together as well when you're in a strong position like this.
Yes, and so, you know, that's going to heavily discourage team fights to where, you know, you don't want to go in with your whole team against them. Otherwise, they have enough crowd control to be able to pull you all into one location and eliminate all of you all at the same time, or one at a time, but you can't do anything because you can't disengage, you can't get out of there, you can't really fight it very much because you don't have the gold lead or advantages that you need to be able to do that.
Right now, there's no objectives on the map currently, besides maybe looking at those tier 2 turrets. So we're seeing No Heckin Way just return back, you know, keeping their lead ahead with some farming, maybe looking for some vision in the topside jungle. They're not finding anyone right now. Dragon is spawning shortly though, and we see No Heckin Way grouping up on that objective to try to pressure for that soul.
Yeah, it's these objective pressures, you know, that the Mountain Drake particularly with this is going to be very useful. We can see that teleport from Syndra to keep the top lane from going down, and just these objectives really making the difference in this game. You know, the Void Grubs being able to help push those towers. You know, we have the dragons that are making the team tankier and less or rather more difficult to be able to take down, and just the amount of lane pressure that each person individually on the team of No Heckin Way is able to bring, it's starting to cause a problem, or it's not just starting to cause a problem, it's been a problem for Frankfurt Worship that they've been having to address all game. The only one who really isn't falling behind drastically still on gold is Mundo, because he has those jungle objectives. He doesn't have to fight, or not rather objectives, but he has the jungle farm he doesn't have to fight Nocturne nearly as much for. And so it's... And you know, here we've got, you know, Mercury B just, you know, pulling a little bit of a bait out onto Vladimir, just trying to see what he can do.
Chanting for Cyril just hit Frank GPG there, and Pengu and Dior are there to follow up on that, and she's going to pick up an easy kill in the top lane. Frank GPG having a real tough time this game, and that's going to be tier 2 turret there. Reap just got found out by the side of Frankfurt Worship, but he's going to be able to flash out. Rahambe is now in there by himself as the rest of the team retreats to defend their inhib turrets, and No Heckin Way is looking for a little bit more. They're pushing the top lane, they're pushing the mid lane, and looks like they're about to start come knocking on their base.
You know, it's really interesting to see when Nocturne ults and people scatter. Normally it's the other way around. Nocturne ults and people all huddle together, and they're like, okay, where is he? And so yeah, you need to be able to react properly to that Nocturne ult. You know, possibly if they had, you know, come together when he ulted, probably if Set were alive at the time, they could have come together and used Set to their advantage to be able to take out Nocturne as he dove in before the rest of the team arrived.
Yep, and looks like No Heck Away is looking for a reset here. Baron just spawned for the first time. The Baron buff will help them crack open the base. Top and hips taken as well. So No Heck Away maybe looking to get that end before they even get Mountain Soul.
Yeah, looks like we do have No Heckin' Way doing a quick reset so they can fight and contest for that Baron that Frankfurt Wurschen is certainly wanting to keep them from getting, because if No Heckin' Way gets that Baron buff, there's going to be no stopping them. They're going to take a turret, they're going to take another, they're likely mid lane with how low that turret is, take that turret, take that inhibitor, take those 2 Nexus turrets, and take the Nexus for the win there. As we have that jungle and that vision being cleared, keeping Frankfurt Wurschen on that defensive as they are able to just take Baron uncontested and push forward for the win.
Yeah, and there's no contest on this Baron here, so No Heckin' Way is going to be able to claim the about Mercury Beast fighting Frankfurt GB in bot lane. Frankfurt Wurschen are maybe looking for this pick onto onto Mercury B again. He's going to still pick up a kill on the Frank, and it's technically a 1-for-1, but he loses the Baron buff. Now Frankfurt Wurschen are going to have to respond to that mid lane push from side of No Heckin' Way.
And as I said earlier in the game, if you're committing too many resources to that Renekton, you're taking those resources away from other lanes. We can see that mid lane inhibitor and Nexus and turret, not the Nexus turrets yet, but we saw the that inhibitor and inhibitor turret go down.
Just took Paranoia on Zerg there. One-shot him. He's so far ahead that now Pengu's looking to kite in. Forza Tavares drops the coin, but just doesn't do enough damage at this point. He's behind too much gold, and seeing No Heckin' Way taking down the first Nexus turret. Lava Slide trying to deal with all these supers that are coming in the top lane, Sandman Pulls, but they don't take any damage. The Baron buff's there. Forza Tavares looking for anything, not able to do any damage to Pengu there, and now Frankie just came a respawn, and he's already low HP. Lava Slide is getting hit by that massive range of the Ashe with the Millia buff, and that's going to be a very clean game from the side of No Heckin' Way.